very fun speed build for you. This house was inspired by the announcement of Sims 4 City Life. This house is called Green Gables Farmhouse because the roof is green and it's a gabled roof. And plus it kind of looks like the house from Anne of Green Gables, which if you haven't seen, you should definitely watch at some point. My sister texted me a few weeks ago and said I was coming to Netflix, but I have not seen it yet on Netflix. But I had the VHSs growing up. I have digital versions of it now. I love it. It's so amazing. And the funny thing is, when I was little, I did not like it at all. It really annoyed me when my sister wanted to watch it. Anyway, so yes. So how is a farmhouse inspired by the announcement of Sims 4 City Life? Well, I thought I would go the exact opposite and go out to the country and build a farmhouse. So that is what I did. The farmhouse ends up being 3 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms, and it has a full garden in the backyard, which I spent the past week building up, and all the plants are now either magnificent or higher. So there's no perfect, but they're pretty close to perfect. So there's magnificent, superb, and whatever else is above that. And it's a huge variety of plants. There's not a duplicate plant. There's even you might see in the screenshots, there's even a cow plant in the front yard, but the backyard, there's all different kinds of trees, all different kind of vegetables, flowers, herbs, and fruits. So if you are looking to move away from the city, this is the house for you. There's also a working fish pond in the back, which is really cool. That's here. So this is basically an all-inclusive, you don't really need to venture out into the world if you are an outdoorsy person. Like, this house is self-sustaining. So you can live off the land, eat the fruit, and you can fish, and it's just really cool. So this might be the first time I've ever used the black shuttered windows, and this is when I decided that a green roof would offset the blackness of the shutters and make it look, I don't know, older maybe is a good term for it. And just something different. You wouldn't necessarily see it. And I don't know if I probably have seen a green roof. I can't recall a time I've seen a green roof, but I'm sure I have. A friend of mine growing up, they had a house built, and her mom chose the trim color of the house, and it ended up being like a Kelly green or a forest green, just a very clashy color of green for, the trees and the grass and everything. So I don't think that the green of this roof necessarily clashes very badly, and also it's not reality. I probably would not choose a green roof for myself for a house, but it definitely works in The Sims. So speaking of expansion packs, going back to The Sims 4 City Life, I think that it's a great idea for an expansion pack. It's always cool to play The Sims in a new way. And, we have had semi-city expansion packs before. So there were apartments in previous versions of The Sims, and obviously they're bringing them back. But they're bringing them back in a new way with having traits for apartments, which, help your Sims, I don't know, maybe build skills or job performance or whatnot. Or maybe even their mood or aspirations. But I would love to see pets, and I know they'll bring pets eventually, and I'm not that disappointed that pets hasn't been released yet, because I'm sure they will, because they've always done pets. And honestly, after playing with pets, after a few days with the pets in the house, they kind of get really annoying, and they're just an extra task. So I know, speaking of extra, so toddlers, people complained about, there's no toddlers and it's really taken away from the gameplay. And I don't know, I kind of got bored with toddlers after, a sim day. It's like, okay, they're not really serving a purpose. They're just, my Sims can't, work on their other things they need to do. Although I did like the daycare career in The Sims 3. That was really fun. Anyway, I digress. So going back, this lot actually has a lot of landscaping, and I tried to make it look as authentic as possible. So there's a little fenced in garden in the back, and if it was a real farm, it would or in air quotes, in real life, a farm would be much bigger than this, and you'd have more than one of each vegetable probably if this was a true working farm. So this is more of a sustaining farm, so it's only meant to sustain the family that's living in the home. So this is where I'm putting in the fish pond, and the fish pond does work because I play tested the house. I did have to change a couple of things around, but the play testing, the fishing, all the fishing signs, there ends up being 3 of them. They all work. And I really like having a fishing pond in the backyard. That's very convenient and actually pretty fun because your Sims can just, go outside, go fishing. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And I'm just adding rocks around it to make it look more natural because even with the borders of the pool, it's not very likely that you would have the borders aren't very realistic for a true pond. And the green water is a very nice touch. And I'm just adding in water features to kind of create a waterfall effect. And I really like the way that the pond turned out. Occasionally, little disclaimer, you will see a fish or two flying up through the grass, but it's not very frequently. It's only when the pond is, hopping. It's only when there's a lot of fish in the pond. So not very often. So the inside of the house, there's this really, really disproportionately big study for the rest of the living space, but that's okay because I think I filled it well with adding a computer desk and bookshelf and a chess table. Also, although this house is meant to be, built back in the 1800s or even earlier, there's modern upgrades because even farmers love modern conveniences. I grew up in a pretty agricultural area myself, and in California, and there's this one town you can drive through that has a cheese factory there, and I have a friend that lives there, so one time I was going to visit her, and there's also this awesome pizza place that uses the cheese from that factory, and was going to have lunch with my friend at this pizza place. Oh my gosh, I saw so many like Maseratis, Aston Martins. Like these weren't just high-end cars. Like these weren't Mercedes or like BMWs or Lexuses. These were like the Supreme cars. These were such high-end cars, and a lot of them were dairy farmers or dairy ranchers, farmers. Anyway, they own dairies, so dairy farmers make a lot of money if they can afford a Maserati or Aston Martin, because that is not like leasing a BMW for $400 or $500 a month. That is pretty significant amount of money. Anyway, so this farmhouse, as I was saying, kind of has that modern convenience, but still has a country feel. So the decor is very country. I used a lot of the kitschy decor that I don't use a lot in my builds because it's not my personal style. I think I have an aversion to it because when I was little, my mom had this. She had this country kick where like they redecorated the whole entire house in the living room and the hallways with all this country crap. Like there was this border with a heart wreath on the border in the living room, and the carpet was pink, which is pretty hideous to have pink carpet in your entire house. And there was also these stuffed animals, but they were stuffed with hay, and they were dressed in farm clothes. I don't know. It was very odd that she went through this cake. I don't even know where she picked this up. Luckily, it only lasted for maybe 5 or 6 years, and then they took down the border and went with a more neutral theme. I think they painted the living room an off-white color, so much better than the pink. And they got rid of the pink carpet as well, which never ever get pink carpet. So I like having, if I have a 2-story house, I like putting a half bathroom or a powder room downstairs just because I think that, your guests need a place to go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom in, they're not going to go to the bathroom upstairs because that's, if you have a guest over, they're not going to go upstairs because that's where the bedrooms are. So just a simple bathroom with a toilet and a sink is all they need to have it to make a guest bathroom downstairs. And plus, if you're cooking or something and you have to go pee, it would be really annoying to have to walk all the way upstairs just to use the bathroom. So that is the purpose behind putting a powder room downstairs. And it doesn't take up that much space. So while I was playtesting this house to build the garden up and build the quality of all the plants, I also went through and upgraded all the fixtures, all the plumbing fixtures, all the electronics, all of the plumbing fixtures would be showers and sinks. The fireplace that I end up putting in the master bedroom, which I'm working on right now, that also gets upgraded. So everything is fully upgraded. My sim finished off his purpose, very handy and very gardened. He was a good fisherman, he was an excellent gardener, and he was a perfect handyman. So that was my sim. And I even made him country-ish. So he had the cowboy hat, the cowboy boots, jeans, a white t-shirt, a full beard. His name was even Luke Ryan. So a very, country sounding name. I don't listen to country music, but I'm pretty sure there's a country artist named Luke Ryan or something similar to Luke Ryan. No, I'm thinking of Paul Ryan, which is disgusting. Speaking of Paul Ryan, another tangent here. So I think I'm going to try to build the White House, which would be kind of cool. It will have to be a mini version of the White House because, there's the West Wing, the East Wing, all the wings of the house. But yeah, I think it would be really cool to build the White House. Of course, there's not curved walls in The Sims yet. Maybe in The Sims 5. So you can't make it the Oval Office, but you can make it like a octagon-y office, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. So that's my next project. And I think I say that I have all these ideas for house builds, and then I build them, and then I don't like the way they turn out, so I don't narrate them, or I don't post them, or I don't share them. So I just need to have more confidence in my building skills. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to talk to a manager at work about about working on his team. So I'm using this time to make sure that I enunciate my words clearly and that I communicate clearly and effectively so I can say, hey, I think I would make an excellent member of your team. These are my qualifications. Because he has an opening and he's not sure what level he's going to post it at. And I am vying for a promotion here, so I got to make sure that he understands. And I do have a few other managers who are willing to put in words of recommendation for me. So that also makes me feel really good about the position. I don't know. Corporate offices are, they are something else. They are totally so while I was in college, I worked in a movie theater. Typical, not making a lot of money. It wasn't ever going to be a permanent career. Just a college job to get by. And there was so much drama. And then I thought, oh, this is terrible. It must be because I'm working at, a dead-end job that there's so much drama. Well, then after I graduated college, I went and worked at a lab. And again, there was so much drama. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? That, I think, was attributed to the fact that most people who worked there were also out of college. So it was probably just, people thought they were, I don't know. People weren't fully mature yet. So now, I work at corporate offices. I sit, the CEO of my organization sits within 30 yards of me, which is very intimidating sometimes. And, I have my cubicle, I have my laptop, I feel like I finally have a career, and there's still a little bit of drama. Not as much as I've dealt with in the past, but there's still a little bit of drama. And there's also this attitude you have to have, this corporate attitude, which I don't think I possess because I feel like I have something called a personality. I'm bubbly, I'm smiley, I make jokes in meetings and whatnot, and I feel like I don't fit the typical corporate persona. So, in that case, I'm trying to play a role of trying to fit into this corporate persona. Anyway, I didn't mean to get off on a tangent. We're working on the master bathroom now, and the master bathroom kind of goes off on a totally modern tear. It's the most modern room in the entire house. But I have an obsession with master bathrooms. Most of my builds, probably all of them, have a master bathroom because I think that is the epitome of like a home, is having a master bathroom. So I'm working on the lights outside now, and I've never used these porch lights before, probably because I don't often build covered porches, but I have a covered porch and I use these totally awesome porch lights, and I think it works pretty well. So there's no scarecrows in the game because there's no farm stuff pack. So instead I've used these little creatures that I scaled up. So something that moves is that fountain because my sim wasn't using that gate because the fountain was blocking it. So I moved it. So that's not where its final place is when I uploaded the game. Speaking of uploading the game, it's not the game, it's this lot. And you can find it. It's called Green Gables Farmhouse. You can also find it by searching my username, which is Cheri, Cheri, of all trades, no spaces. Or you can also hashtag that and find it in the gallery. So this house, the decorations, at least outside, I think make this house complete and lived in and usable. And it's not a house. It's, sometimes people build a house, or sometimes I build a house and I kind of falter on the decorating side of things. Like my problem is when I build houses, I get so excited about playing in the house that I don't finish decorating, and then I just play, and then I realize, oh wait, the house doesn't really have that complete feel to it. But this one, I terrain painted, I added a lot of decorations to all the rooms, and I made it feel like somebody actually lives here and it's not just a staged home that they're trying to sell. I like the sunflowers on the side. I think that's very country. The landscaping, again, is, I don't know, I just like it a lot. Although I would not mind if we had, I know we just got romantic garden stuff pack, and I know we've had outdoor stuff, and I know we've had backyard life. Wait, no. We had the backyard stuff pack, romantic garden stuff pack, and perfect patio. So we've had a lot of outdoor stuff packs. And of course, the outdoor retreat expansion pack. Oh my gosh, which one was that? With the one that came with Granite Falls. I don't know why I'm losing my thoughts right now. But there's been a lot of stuff for outside. And yet I still feel like we're lacking just plain green shrubs. Like, not huge green shrubs, just plain green shrubs. That aren't, that are only one tile big. So here is, I decided to put a well out just because I had some extra space there, and I wanted something out front, which is interesting because there ends up being a cow plant on the other side that's alive and thriving, but you can always get rid of it if cow plants aren't your thing. Cow plants annoy me because my Sims will use them autonomously, and then they'll be in a bad mood for days. Well, I think it's 24 hours or something. And just feed the thing. You don't need to eat the cake, you greedy pig. So the pool area is pretty industrial. I figured because it's an indoor pool, there's going to need to be a lot of a lot of ventilation and a lot of like industrial equipment inside to keep the pool clean and to keep the air circulating fine. So that's why it kind of has an industrial feel in the room. There's also I also put down a couple of wellness mats for the wellness skill. And they also serve as looking like towels as well. So dual purpose there. So now I'm just putting down the seeds to the garden, or I should say the plants to the garden. And again, I do go in actually and plant these with my sim and make it a complete garden. And I don't use any of the same 2 plants. Of course, you are more than welcome to go in, and I think I discovered the quill plants. The alien quill plant is those fruits are worth the most. They're worth more than blackberries and dragon fruits and grapes. So if you're looking for an easy moneymaker, the bills in this house end up being around $6,000, maybe a little bit more than $6,000. I think it's less than $6,500, but definitely around the mid 6,000s or low to mid 6,000s is what the bills end up being. So this is definitely a house for Sims who are well established with either a lot of money or a kick butt job. But I think I think it's a good house. I don't think that it has any extraneous space. So mailbox, trash can, and then we'll move into screenshots. This is the outside. This is the backyard and the garden, and I will leave the rest of the screenshots for you guys to look through. Well, everyone, amgoy, shasha, gamang, kamsamida, gracias, grati, merci. Thank you so much. I will talk to you next time. Peace out.